we have a powerful pedagogy. Yesterday, I asked the student, what was it again? They said, it was so fun. When you come again? We really try to find to every student the best way for him or her to learn.
Edtech podcasters. First up, vote on the 2017 calendar of the Edtech podcast. I'm seeking your feedback on which topic areas you'd love podcasts on next year. You can find the link in the show notes on Facebook, LinkedIn or Twitter. Click on the link, right-click through the slides and punch in your thoughts as you work through the deck. It will take less than 3 minutes and you'll feel really marvellous afterwards. In other news, a big shout out to everyone involved in the EduLab's Rapid Accelerator this week, and look out for the upcoming EdTech for Publishers Trends podcast coming out of the Future Book event taking place this week. Next week is jam-packed with Bet Awards judging, a meeting on EdTech at the Department of Business, and chairing the Nordic EdTech Conference in Copenhagen. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible. And now on to this week's fantastic episode with Maarit Rossi, another Global Teacher Prize nominee, and this time from Finland. Maarit has extensive experience teaching maths in Finland, has co-authored 9 Finnish maths curriculum textbooks, and her school consistently ranks above average in Finnish PISA and national maths tests, with girls doing better in maths in her schools than boys, which is the reverse of the OECD trend. After meeting a colleague on a Fulbright teaching exchange, Maarits produced Path to Maths, a website offering maths resources in 3 languages. In this podcast episode, we talk about the new Finnish curriculum and what you need to know about it, showcasing why maths is relevant and how maths can solve real-world problems, challenging the lack of VC investment in female-led businesses. I hope you like this episode and do share your thoughts on the Facebook page, Twitter or Anchor. Don't forget to vote on the topics you want to hear about in 2017 and make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already. Okay, here we go. Hello again.
Very interesting job you have. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, you'll know what it's like to launch your own business and interesting people.
Yeah, but it's also very hard.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You really have to believe what you are doing.
Yeah, and you have to keep going. You have to have like breaks and then push on again. And yeah.
Nobody takes care of you, only yourself. You have to remember that.
Yeah, no, that's very good advice. It's 6:54 in the morning UK time, and I'm delighted to be recording with Maarit Rossi, founder and chair of Path to Math and Global Teacher Prize nominee based in Finland. So
Good
welcome,
morning.
Maarit. Good morning. So first question is, Finland doesn't have any educational problems, does it?
No, it seems that we are moving in different directions than the other part of the whole world.
So, I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, my question was slightly tongue-in-cheek because although Finland is, you know, it's constantly rolled out, isn't it, as this kind of bastion for educational sort of progressive ways and successful ways as well, that perhaps steer the path between you know, being innovative and creative, but also delivering, you know, the results that people look for as well.
Yep, I think that we have so many things which are different than the other countries, and I think that they are the key factors why we are successful. And one is that, for example, the days are shorter for the students than elsewhere. And then even the school year is shorter, and still even the day are short. They have a lot of breaks, and they have free school lunch, free transportation, healthcare. And when we have now the new curriculum, it takes much more attention to that thing that the student is the center of learning. So the teacher is not anymore so important. the learning happens so that the student has to be the active part. And I think it's something very, very creative what we have started to do. And already, of course, we have done it before.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think I've noticed a lot of attention on this new curriculum, and I know that Larry Yarvoletto, who I interviewed previously from Leitner, called it a work of art, the curriculum, and it was amazing to watch someone be so enthusiastic and passionate about, something coming out of government. And what I wanted to ask you is, what really is the new curriculum? Because there's lots in the press of, Finland have removed the whole, working to a curriculum. And I know that that's not the entire story or the real picture. But what are the kind of main aspects of it then?
The main aspect is that all the teachers and all levels, we have to take really attention on the learning of the students, and it's so much now we are like research-based education. So, for example, when we get the result from one research that students are not moving enough during the school day, and if you are moving, your brains are working better. So we just make changes in the curriculum, and also every school knows that we have to take attention what kind of structure we have in the lesson, so that it's not at all good if they are sitting in their places. They have to be active in their learning. I think this is one of the key things. And of course also that we don't test students like other countries that they have national tests. But of course, as a math teacher, I'm testing, but I can test them so different ways. If they are learning actively, I can follow and look how they are doing it. I can discuss and I can make questions, and it's part of my assessment. I don't have to put them in front of the paper and all the time make tests with the paper.
So it becomes more personal and anecdotal, as opposed to constantly just trying to capture that in a standardized test method.
Yeah. We really try to find to every student the best way for him or her to learn. So, for example, if they have some student have a lot of learning problems in writing or something, so the test can be so that we ask the question and he or she don't have to write it. He just tells what he knows about it.
Interesting. And something that's quite symptomatic here is, you have these different camps of ideologies behind education. So, for example, if something like this were to happen, you'd have a lot, I'm sure, of pushback. You might have some parts of the education community really enthusiastic and others not so much. But perhaps it's just the circles are moving. But the people I've spoke to within Finland about this are all really positive. Are there any of your colleagues that are slightly concerned about how it will be implemented, or is the overwhelming feeling quite positive about it?
Actually, if I think about my career, I thought that this change would have had happened already in the beginning of 2000. We have 2004, the last curriculum change, and actually it didn't happen. So myself, I'm really excited about this moment now. And of course, there's always people who are critical, and I think it's good that there are also critical people.
Yeah.
But I think now the society has changed, and such kind of school which we earlier had, and many places still all over the world has, it's not anymore actual for the children, because if we don't change the school, they are learning maybe 70% outside the school.
Yeah.
And of course, we want that the school is the best place to learn and to be together and to socialize them.
Really interesting. Okay. Yeah, my next question was whether you're still a practicing math tutor. What's your kind of average day or week? What does that look like?
Okay, I have made a really long career. I have been a math teacher and still am, and I have been a principal. I have retired from my principal work, but I still get back to school because I love math teaching. And I think that it's my mission that I want to change math education in the whole world, not only in Finland, because I think it's one of the subjects which students are really suffering, and they think that it's meaningless and it's boring, and some of them are even frightened. And I have done a long career in this area, and I know how to make students love and like it. And for example, yesterday I had a 6th grade classes, 4 hours, and then I met one teacher. We were discussing about how we would write about the modern way of teaching mathematics, and my week is about a little bit teaching, and then I'm an entrepreneur, and then I'm so happy that I can write articles to the Global Search for Education to Kathy Rubin. And also nowadays I'm a contributor for maths in the Teach Middle East magazine.
Okay.
And I'm training teachers around the world, and I'm training teachers in Finland. So I'm so happy that there is now the moment that I believe that at last we understand about learning and how it can affect to the math learning, and how you and when we do it, we can actually make students much more happier in the school also.
Absolutely. And I mean, I read yesterday about how, you're trying to prove the subject is not boring, and it got me thinking about, there are some films that I've seen which perhaps capture what can be the beauty of maths, or the sort of real self-empowering moment if you're trying to work through a maths problem, and then you get to the crux of it. And I was thinking about things like Beautiful Mind and things like that, which perhaps take you on that emotional and sort of human journey of what maths is. I didn't know if you had any sort of, whether it's film or other ways that you recognise as sort of showing people how exciting maths can be, and the sort of passion that you have for it as well.
Yeah, actually, because of this paths to math, which we have developed 20 years, we have, of course, developed the material for the classrooms. And I tell a couple of examples so that how we get students so excited and involved in mathematics. For example, we think that interdisciplinary math is very important, and it means that you have a big theme. And one theme which I made with the Finnish Red Cross was about refugee camps. So I give real numbers to the students. It was an African state, there was a war, and 1,020,000 people has to escape to the neighbor country. And Red Cross exactly know that they have 11 camps, they know how many people they put in the camps, and they have to deliver food to the people. And also they know what is the weight and volume of the food, how many kilocalories a person needs a day to be alive. And the students knew that they have to deliver the food every third week. And they have also the maps so that they knew where the camps were situated, and also they know amount of the tracks how they can use, and they have to also count the resting time for drivers, and also how long it take for this big lorry to take the food. So math can be meaningful. The math can be something involved in their own life and in the society. And it was very basic mathematics. And it was so important for the students when they could understand that they are the next generation who are solving the problems. And math can be a really good help and tool for them to understand what's going on and how they can solve it. So this is one example. I have a lot of them if you are only interested, because this is really my passion. It's math is beautiful, but math is also in many places in their life, in the society. It's not only theoretical. It's not only art. It's everywhere.
Yeah, no, very good point. And in that point, I suppose, you're really teaching the students this is a matter of life and death. So you really want to get this correct.
Absolutely, and not like if you ask somebody what they think about math, they said that only thing what they remember in the school was simplifying expression of solving equation, and they don't have no idea where they use it later.
Yeah,
And this is it's crucial. We have to change math education in key 12 schools.
So tell us a little bit about Path to Math, which you developed as well. And I mean, going back to the sort of Global Teacher Awards or Teacher Prize, is that part of why you were successful in being put forward for a nomination, do you think? Or is it your general approach?
I think it was maybe one of the most important reasons why I was nominated. But also I have been working in the Finnish industry as making a material for students, and then I have been managing in one European Union project how to get girls more studying STEM subjects. Okay. So everything what I'm doing is science and math, and how I really want to make it pleasant and interesting and meaningful to everybody, and not only 5 or 10% of students, because this way how we are now teaching mathematics, it's suitable only a very, very few students.
And so what is Path to Math for those people listening?
Path to Math is an e-learning math material. So it's in the cloud, and you can use it anywhere with any device at any time. And we made it in English with my business partner, Cecilia Vilapona from United States, because I met her when I got my Fulbright. And when she visited my school, she said, "Oh my God, you have such math." She has tried to find all her life. And I was so amazed. And she insisted that I have to translate it with her into English and update and make it more modern. So it's actually covering all material students and teachers need from 6th grade to 9 to 10. In United States, it even works on the 10th grade, because the level of math is a little different. It depends on their curriculum and the schools, but average it's covering all the material. It can be printable, and there are interactivities and there are videos. But I think the most important is that we are giving teachers and students different approaches to math. And I think it's not the most, like Lauris have a very powerful group to make it learning very, very gaming. We don't have such powerful, but we have a powerful pedagogy. And for example, my school was in the PISA 2003, when the average points of the OECD was 500 points. My school was 564 or something, and the girls make better than the boys.
That must have felt good when you got those results.
Yeah, it was so. Actually, we didn't understand. We didn't understand it. We just continued, and when the whole world began to speak about, "Oh, they did it again. What's going on in Finland?" Then we realized, "Oh my God, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
And today, of course, we are a little bit excited because they are pronouncing now 6 or 7th next month, the next PISA results of 2015, and I think that we are still in the top 10, I believe, but the points are going a little bit down, and I think that's the reason we make also the changes in the curriculum, because we really understand that we have to look how really the learning happens. It's not so that the teacher comes to the classroom and tells. And I think it was interesting. Last month also OECD published a research. The name is 10 Questions for Mathematics Teachers and How PISA Can Help Answer Them. There was 10 questions about, and they were concerned about the mathematics all around the world. And one of the concerners was that 8 students from 10 is solving mathematics on the base of memorizing. Yeah. And I think this is totally showing what's happening in the math classes all over the world, and we have to change it. Otherwise, it continues like I heard. It was maybe Facebook when I saw a film from United States about that they were in TV discussing that if they take algebra away from the high school because they don't know where to use it anymore. And also in Finland, I was driving one day my car and I heard from radio then very clever people who were running the radio show were discussing that, have you ever used math anywhere? And the other one answered, no. And it's amazing that people have such belief on the base of the school math that they don't need it, and there is such power, and we are the human beings who can enjoy when we are understanding and finding, but we can also use the knowledge, collecting data, combining it, classifying it, make decisions, and with the help of math, it's really make our life easier.
And I mean, you mentioned the team behind Pastor Math, like you don't have this broad advisory board and that kind of thing. But do you have investors in that, and do those investors, get this vision of, and perhaps like the long-term return of investing in such a company?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you. I have 2 business angels, but of course they don't put such a money to the product. But and also the state of Finland have gave us some money, so the product is ready. But now we actually really need a bigger investor who would believe this, that we would put it on the next level, so that it would be more gaming areas like Lauri is doing, because they are doing a very narrow area of the chemistry and science and physics, when we are covering the whole 3-4 years education, and it's tested in the classes around the Finland. And I have been pitching money, and think about when usually the other ones in the group, they are young boys, they have ideas, and they are full of energy, like me too. and they easily get maybe £1 million or $2 million, even they didn't have anything else than the idea. And then this lady comes,
and really interesting,
a lady comes a little bit older, a huge of experience and huge of results, and the new research-based how to learn and how to make math interesting and fun. And it's harder. It's really much harder. But I'm going on. I'm like a...
and so how much are you looking for?
Actually, I have asked from United States when I was last time pitching $1 million.
And what would you do with it?
With that one, we would make the whole thing so that it would be more gaming parts and more interactivities, but at the same time, because learning in the classroom is not only working with the computers of tablets, it's working together. So it has to be something new. That there are elements for the teachers easily to take, that this one, do it together with the groups. Share the students, groups of 4, and then maybe we have even videos we can show, this is the way how you do it. Just be brave, and because I think it's very difficult for teachers to change the situation in the classroom if they haven't tested it and tried it. They have to have good material, so that even if the first time don't go so well, I know that the feedback from the students is so amazing that they know that this is the right way. And this was also the reason why I'm still so passionate about this, because I get so great feedback. Yesterday, I asked the student, what was it again? They said, it was so fun. When you come again?
Well, and I think, there's 2 points on that. On the first one, I think I read yesterday something about only is like 3 or 4% of VC funding ever goes to companies headed up by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty remarkable that it's still that bad. And it reminds me, like, I know in the ad industry, it's not the same now. It's not as bad, but I think that it used to be that only 3% of creative directors in the whole industry were women. And so then they launched this conference called the 3% Conference, where they discussed, and it was that was all about sort of females in the industry. But yeah, I think the same issue currently just reflects who's heading up these VC companies primarily, and obviously people tend to mirror and invest in things that are safe to them. But it'd be great if we could get you some investment off the back of this podcast. I'd be very happy.
Yes, and I think it's very interesting moment also what we are living. If you think the first learning games, they have been made for consumers, and now I'm talking about the schools and all schools around the world. So I think it's interesting that I hope that I can see the moment, and I would love to be in the moment to make this change in the classrooms. And actually, I'm cooperating with the Fun Academy, and Fun Academy is a Finnish startup company, and it's spin-off from Rovio. And actually, I think that Lauri has been also working with them, and they are now doing a global platform, so that their teachers could make some gaming parts to the classroom themselves without that they don't have to code. You don't have to be a coder, but you can have the motors and elements. And actually, I'm afternoon going to the workshop, and I'm testing how to put paths to math on the platform. So I'm coming.
That's very interesting. So for anyone else listening as well, so if they have a kind of a concept, or I don't know how far it would need to be developed, but it can plug into that platform and then use their distribution network.
Absolutely. I think that's the idea, that they want to have a good ready content like mine. And then there is a possibility that their teachers are doing their own content to this global platform. And I think that's something very, very unique, which nobody has done yet. I'm really excited about them, and I'm so happy that I can work with them.
And then you're coming to BET in January, aren't you? So you'll be in London in January, and speaking with your peers from the Global Teacher Prize about what does leadership or effective leadership look like around the world.
Yes, what makes possible for us that we are one of the top 10.
What will you bring to that panel? What's your answer to that question?
I think a very important question is that what kind of principle you have. I have been so lucky that I have had a great principal who trusted me, gave me space, allowed me to test and develop my teaching methods. And of course, it's important what kind of system you have in your society, because if I think me as a teacher in Finland, I don't have inspectors looking after me or a national test, because we are so trusted that we are doing our work well, and I'm sure that teachers all around work are doing their best. So it's something that has happened to the society. When it was 1970, when Finland made decision that everybody get a free education, my mother didn't have this opportunity. So then they divided people in two categories: those one who get only a four years basic education, and then they went to vocational school, and then the other ones who continued, they have to pay money for that. And in 1917 the politicians were really clever, and they were really strong, because also that time some of the people were against it. They didn't believe it. And when we look in the history backwards, it's about 50 years ago, Finland was one of the most poorest country in the world, and now we are one of the richest country. We don't have oil, but we have the education, we have the knowledge, and we are flexible. And I think it's really important also what kind of system you have. It means, but also what kind of principle you have. And I have been very lucky in these cases.
And we talked earlier about inspiring, and are there any other people, whether it's favorite mathematicians or people that have inspired you on this journey that helped shape your thinking in this space as well?
Yes. Actually, it was more than 20 years ago. National Board of Education invited in the summer those science math teachers who would be interested to develop their teaching. So that was the key moment for me, because I understood that this can't be the way of teaching students. And we have a group of 100 teachers in Finland, and we meted each other quite often during the year. We traveled around some countries. Even we visited in Leeds University, which was very famous of constructivistic learning. And those were the moments when we were sharing and discussing and finding what's going on in the whole world. And in these groups also came from Pasi Salperi, and who is working in Harvard now, Jari Lavonen, who is the director of teacher education. So that was very important. And of course, maybe most important mentor for me was Professor Erkki Pehkonen, who is a professor of didactics in mathematics, because he has been supporting me through over 20 years. And it hasn't been for me easy in the beginning, because even some of my colleagues said to me that, oh, Maarit is singing and dancing and going to teach math. But now we have this, we understand the learning and we understand children better. And the society has changed so much that everybody understands that we really have to concentrate more, not about what the teacher is giving. We have to give the environment of the learning to the students.
Very much. And do you have any top 3 books or top 3 apps in mathematics that people should check out?
I think then I have to look them from my library, because I have a couple of where I started, and they were mostly from United States. And that's funny that now we are making in PISA, maybe we are sometimes in the position of 1 to 10, and they are something about 26 to 30. And it's really amazing that they have a so great results from the research, but they don't put them. And we are really very, very listening what's going on. And if we get some new information which is research based, we want to test it and try it, how it works.
And how about you? How do you relax outside of maths?
Oh my God! Is there any life
outside of maths?
Now I'm playing golf with my husband in the summertime, but we have very short summer here. Then when I visit my business partner and my friend Cecilia to New York, I go to opera. Cool. And actually now when I'm teaching teachers in Africa, in China, in Poland, I like it, because it gives me so much pleasure when I notice that the teachers, they catch it, they just get the idea what I'm doing, and they totally agree that they have to change their teaching.
And a lot of it sounds like is actually, it's almost easier if someone says to you, you should do it like this, as opposed to, a lot of people will know that, but if they're working in a certain structure, then they need that person to say it's okay to do it like this.
Yeah, and actually when I'm teaching teachers, I put them work like students. So I really want that they go through the same like my students, because they give the joy, they begin to laugh. And actually it has been really interesting when I had classifying triangles, for example, in Africa. And after they have been they cut it from the paper, and I asked them to make 2 different shapes of triangles as big as they can in the paper, and we put them in the middle of the floor, and we go around, and then I said that look the triangles and put them in the groups in based of some of the quality, so they are classifying them. And after when they have classified, then I said that now rip them so to the 3 pieces, so that each piece contains one of the corners, and don't break the corners, and lay the pieces side by side so that sides are touching. And they get the solution that in every triangle, the sum of the triangles is 180. And in Africa, one teacher came to say me, Maarit, I have known this, but I have never understand where this 180 degrees come. So think we are production of our own schools. So that's why the change is so demanding, and it's not so easy. And I really hope that we can fasten it somehow. And people like Lauri outside of the school, and I think they are now giving activities, and they put that we have to do it faster. Of course, there are good parts which we know it, and we keep them in the school, but we really need a lot of changes inside the school too.
Absolutely. Well, Maarit, enjoy your meeting this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was fantastic to connect, and I will meet you in January as well.
Great, Sophie. Nice to meet you then.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you're feeling really great, you can go to iTunes or your own platform and leave a review or rating for the Edtech podcast. Next week, we're finally into the Web Summit Trends episodes with some fantastic episodes on the value of Edtech, Edtech and refugees, Edtech and early years, and much more. Until then...